and I watch it, and it's Maxx Crosby.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, he's getting buckets. Defense is a little questionable in those videos, not going to lie. But one thing
that could have been an effort thing.
Yeah, one thing I had to ask you about it, how'd you feel about dunking on a female in a pickup game?
Hey, honestly, I was not planning on her jumping at all. She just happened to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Wrong place. All right, this man needs no introduction. He's one of my favorite players and somebody that we should have had on a long time ago, but it's finally working out, and we've got Maxx Crosby. Max, thanks for coming on. How you doing, bro?
Amazing, man. I appreciate you having me on. It means a lot, and I agree. We should have done this a while back, but timing is everything, bro.
I'm happy I'm here. We're going to have a great talk, and you can come back whenever you want, but it's good to see you, and I'm psyched to watch you play this year. Okay, the first question I got for you, man, are you happier for Jokic and Serbia or for the Vegas Knights? Because you got 2 championships you can gloat about.
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously I rock with Jokic. He's a baller. He's got Serbian blood. So my mom and, all my cousins and all them are all fired up about it. But, obviously seeing the championship in Vegas is incredible as well. So, yeah, honestly, I can't pick one or the other. But, probably the Vegas fans, they want me to say the Knights. But, I'm going to have to show my love both ways.
You were a Serbian first, and I didn't even know that about you, dude, until I saw you starting to talk in Serbian and all this stuff. Man, that's pretty cool. I didn't know. Jokic has got to be the most famous Serbian ever right now, or is it the tennis guy, you think?
Ooh. Yeah, I think right now it's Jokic for sure. But there's a lot, man. Honestly, just from the basketball side, there's a ton of legends who are Serbian. So, yeah, they're holding it down right now for sure.
Serbians are holding it down, and then, dude, you got to go to the fucking parade, man. To get a little glimpse into the future one day. You should go down to that parade because it is the best thing in sports. If you get a chance to win a title, the game's great, but the parade's better. Is there any chance we might see you down there checking out the Vegas parade?
Yeah, for sure. That's a real possibility. At first I was like, but I agree with you. We have the Super Bowl this year in Vegas. So, maybe a little preview, when we get down there and kind of feel the energy for sure.
That's good.
That would be crazy. To win it at home in Vegas.
That'd be crazy. Tampa did it, but it was during COVID.
Oh.
There was nobody there. Yeah, this would be crazy. Have you been to some Knights games?
Yeah, I went to game 1 of the final. So, yeah, I've been to probably 4 or 5. I didn't, I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like I was a huge hockey fan growing up or anything like that. But, I respect, the sport is violent. There's a lot of craziness going on. There's a lot to it. And, I appreciate any sport, especially at that level. Those dudes are flying around with ice skates on, beating the hell out of each other. So, it's a crazy sport, and I definitely respect them.
As much as I love your game on the field, dude, it was funny. Maybe it was this offseason or the last offseason. My dad texted me. He's like, "Yo, look at Max," and it was you playing pickup basketball. And I think he was probably thinking, "Man, he can't be out here doing this shit, man. We need him." But my first thought was like, "Damn, dude, this guy's really good. You're a real deal basketball player. Can you beat anybody on the Raiders?"
Humbly, I think absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like people talk about Devontae Adams. I've heard he can play pretty well, as well. But yeah, besides him, I don't think anybody can beat me. Humbly.
So I watch YouTube a lot, and one of the channels I watch is Nick Briz. And randomly, a few months ago, I see this dude, Nick Briz, post NFL star D tackle does a run with us or something like that, and I watch it, and it's Maxx Crosby.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, he's getting buckets. Defense is a little questionable in those videos. Not gonna lie, but one thing
that could have been an effort thing.
Yeah, one thing I had to ask you about it. How'd you feel about dunking on a female in a pickup game?
Hey, honestly, I was not planning on her jumping at all. You know, she just happened to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Wrong place.
Pretty bad too.
You know.
It was one of those dunks where when the ball went through the rim, it hit her in the head.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. You know, I just jumped and I seen her down there. So, you know, sometimes it just happens.
No,
like
but
that.
I can't say you definitely have game. You definitely have a lot of game, man.
He's good. It's cool to be tall and have a great wingspan.
For sure.
And be athletic as hell, dude.
And at the end of the day, for the YouTube world, he put a good name out there for DLineman, I think.
Yeah, dude.
Like for playing ball.
Him and Miles.
Yeah, for sure.
You see Miles do some of the dunking he's doing after practice? They got a basketball goal out there after practice.
Yeah, no, Miles is a freak. You know, he reached out to me when that video came out. He's like, "Bro, we got to run when you come back to Texas. We got so."
Hey, that's pay-per-view. Seriously. I don't know why. You remember during the pandemic, it was the verses that kept us all like going. We would stay up late and watch the verses. I would love to do a pay-per-view of him and Miles one-on-one. And it would be the best thing since Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. Honestly, that's the other pay-per-view I want to do. I want to do that one. I want to do Miles, and I want to do Maxx. So we'll see if we can get that going. But, dude, I didn't know this about you, okay? You and I had something in common. Well, we have a couple little things in common. But the road trips you used to drive from Texas all the way up to Michigan to visit a lake in the summer. And me and my pops used to load the truck up, the old red Suburban, and drive from L.A. to Montana to go up to a lake every summer, Flathead Lake. I'm going there next week. What lake is it in Michigan, and what was that time like for you and your family?
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, you know, I grew up on Lake Lapeer. All my buddies, we all lived literally on the same street. We played football, basketball, all the time together. And then, you know, going into my 6th grade year, you know, unfortunately we had to move to Texas, and, you know, it kind of, some things went down. It was a little bit tough, you know, with the family and, you know, the economy and everything at the time. So we kind of had to just pick up and go and figure out where we were going to live next. So we ended up moving to Texas with my grandpa and stayed with him for a year. And me and my brother were like devastated. Like, those are all of our best friends. We did everything together. So my mom, you know, big credit to her. Like, every summer she made a promise to us. Like, it obviously wasn't easy at the time. Like, you know, we couldn't just hop on a plane whenever we want. You know, as kids, it wasn't that easy. But my mom was like, "Listen, I'll drive y'all if you guys want to go, and we'll go every summer and spend a couple of weeks up there, and you guys can be with your friends and, you know, do what we do." So we look forward to it every single time. So it was legendary. The car rides were rough sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
1,200
It was like 20-hour drives, but you know, my mom is a trooper, and so yeah, she would always take us. It was a good time.
What a great mom. That's awesome. And who had the aux cord on the ride? Because you're a music guy, you rap now. Who had the aux cord, and what was being listened to in the family vehicle?
You know, it's funny. My mom, you know, I get everything like from my mom, like from my swag to the music. Like, she's from the east side of Detroit. She's a, you know, immigrant. She came over on a boat from, you know, from the East Europe. Like, my mom she listens from everything from Tupac to Eminem to, like, when I was a kid. So I was listening to that when I was young. So she would be running the aux cord a lot of the times. My mom, you know, she's a legend. You'll meet her, like, every time me and my mom are together, everyone's like, "Oh my God, you guys are the same." Like, that's just how we are. Like, me and my mom are literally like twins. So yeah, she's a legend.
I forget where we were, but I think the first time I met you were with your mom.
Yes.
It was one of those banquets at the Super Bowl or something. She was really cool. I had no idea she had great taste in music. So you now, like, you're rapping. I've heard some stuff with you and Waller. I heard maybe you and Jacobs did something, but, like, what do you listen to now? Because I'm old, Max. I'm 38, so the stuff I listen to, so who's good in the rap game now?
Who's good in the rap game? Honestly, like, I listen to everything, like, from rap to R&B. Like, I just grew up, like, music is like, if you catch me in the locker room, like, I have music playing through my phone. If I'm in a hot tub, I got music playing out loud. There's just like, that's like the energy I get from music. It just always gets me in the right mood. So I'm listening to everything. Like, it can be from, you know, some old school rap to, like, you know, Future or Young Thug, like guys like that. So I listen to everything. But yeah, the music thing, like, I still do it to this day. Like, and I, like my friends, like my friend group, all my boys, we have like our bachelor party group chat. All my boys that, that came out with me to, San Diego for my bachelor party. And I'll just send like a freestyle like once a week, and I'll be in the car and I'll just send it through. And my boy DT, he's like, bro, you got to do this every week. So I'm like, all right, bet. So we just do it. Like, that's just who I am. Like, I love doing, doing that kind of stuff. And I just love music in general. And it's a big part of my life for sure.
So I have to ask this, since you do rap and he was your old teammate, what's the chances of you getting on the track with Antonio Brown?
0% chance.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that pretty much settles it.
So if he sent if he sent the money for 16, you're not sending it back? No chance.
No chance.
All right. He said no chance.
All due respect.
All due respect. Okay. But no chance with all due respect.
What artists right now, if they did like send you a DM and be like, "Hey Max, I heard you rap.
Who would you want that to be?
I need 8 bars. Who would you want it to be?"
Probably Future.
Yeah,
Future
sure. Guy. Big Future.
Yeah, I love Future. I listen to him every day.
You know who's my dude, and it's his birthday. I want to shout him out. Is Freddie Gibbs is my favorite, probably my favorite new rapper. And I'll probably do a layup line. I'll go Palm Olive.
Okay.
The one with him and Push and Killer Mike.
And then I like that song.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about Future, doesn't he have like ad-libs? Mad Max. He says like, I feel like he says Mad Max.
If he says that in one of his songs, he has to send Max a fucking DM or something.
I think he definitely does in a few songs.
Okay, so you said you got your style, your music from your mom. He was asking me before. He was like, I want to ask Max who he thinks has the best drip on his team. Who's got the best clothing?
The real
question is this:
who's the best dressed white guy in the NFL right now?
Yeah,
the best dressed white guy. I think it's I think it's me and Kelsey.
See?
I knew he would say Kelsey.
Who do you think Chris would pick if you had to go through?
He's not going to know who I think has the best drip.
Maybe
he's a quarterback. He's a white quarterback. Okay, Joe Burrow's looks great, and I think the kids all think Joe Burrow looks great, but Joe Burrow looks fucking phenomenal. Travis looks phenomenal. Jason Kelsey, it's like he was raised in a different fucking house. The guy can't even pack he's got a gym bag on the road. It's like this big. He's wearing khakis and a collared shirt. But my favorite dressing guy in the NFL is Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. I like that.
Because I can pull it off. I can't pull it, I can't pull off some of the sauce that fucking Max has got going on.
He has a different type of swag.
No, so that's a good answer, Kelsey. Even though he's on the Chiefs.
Yeah, Kelsey, he's ever since I got in the league, me and him, we go against each other twice a year. So at first we didn't like each other at all. And then we had like one conversation and it felt like we're the same person. We're like,
that's
okay,
usually
this
how
is
it
weird.
is.
Bro,
So we talk about it all the time. It's like, that's my boy. Obviously we're rivals, but
I love
that's
Trav.
my guy.
And you know what the thing about Trav is he's a smart guy, because what he realized was like, fuck, this kid's pretty good. I better get cool with him, so I can brother-in-law him and talk to him in the TV timeout, so he's not busting me upside the head every play. So yeah, I mean. Detroit guy, I was just curious what your take was on this. Like, have you paid attention to Aiden Hutchinson? Because he's kind of living that dream, man. Like growing up in Michigan and then playing for the Lions and being pretty damn good. Have you watched him? Have you thought about what that's got to be like for him?
Yeah, I watched him a lot, his last year at Michigan too. I was teammates with Mo Hurst and, some Michigan guys, and obviously my family are Michigan fans. Unfortunately, but yeah, they were talking about Hutchinson. You got to watch this guy, whatever. And so I started watching him his last year, and he was going nuts.
Yeah.
And him going to Detroit is like, it feels like it's meant to be. At the end of the day, and he got better and better as the year went on, which is usually as a rookie it's the opposite. Like they might come out hot and then kind of slow down, but he got better as the year went on. And you could just tell he works his ass off. He plays the game the right way. you could tell he's just going to continue to get better. I think he's a perfect fit, in that system.
Well, it's funny because he did get better, and one of the things he mentioned on our pod before he came in the league was he loves standing up. And I like standing up late in my career. I had a D-line coach who didn't let me stand up for a while. But all the fucking receivers are standing up. They're the fastest guys on the field. And I just think you can see more. And it was the same thing that he said. And halfway through the year, he started getting more freedom. And he could stand up a little bit more. And I saw him improve a great deal. He's got an inside-out spin like Maxx. We like that. He plays vertical. I love the kid. One of the biggest things that we've been covering here, we're both going to be dads soon.
Yep.
And girl dads.
Girl dads.
And so I know you're a girl dad. I've seen the pictures. You got a beautiful family. I was wondering if you could impart any wisdom or give us any advice on what it's going to be like being a girl dad.
Honestly, there's nothing you can do to really prepare for it. I was in the middle of the season getting ready to have, a child. So I knew my work was cut out for me. I knew, especially Rachel, like she was going to have to carry, most of the weight because I'm not going to be home. And just advice, honestly, I would just enjoy every moment because it happens so fast. Like it feels like she just got here and now she's crawling around the house and grabbing stuff and she won't stop moving. And now she's like trying to talk and she's only 8 months. So it goes by so fast. So just trying to be present as much as you can, I think is the best advice I can give.
So here's my girl dad $1 million question. Imagine you're somebody else. You're a grown up with a daughter right now. And your daughter's like, I'm dating somebody on the Raiders, Dad. He's coming over for dinner. And you're going to answer the door. Who do you want that guy to be out of all your teammates that you're like, I'd be okay with this guy dating my daughter in another scenario? Because the easier answer is probably like who you wouldn't want. But I'm not going to ask you that.
I can name a lot that I wouldn't. Definitely name a lot that I wouldn't.
Is there anybody on the Raiders?
That's tough.
What about little Hunter Renfrow?
Yeah, I feel like, that's easy. I mean, Hunter Renfrow, like a Daniel Carlson, kicker, just a great dude, family man. Those are the type of guys
Those were the exact two people that popped into my head.
Those are slam dunks.
Renfrow, that's great. Yeah. Are you going to be like the guy at the door that's like, you try to throw a little intimidation in there, like a little longer handshake, or what's your strategy?
Honestly, I've always thought I would be that guy, but I really don't know. Like, I feel like just as, you have a daughter and obviously she's so young, but I feel like as you mature and get older, like my whole mindset has changed so much just in the last couple of years. So like if she brings some, so I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss her, if she brings some dickhead over, I'm going to be, you know what I mean? I'll be on his ass. But besides that, besides that, I'm going to be respectful until, I have to go there.
There we go. Yeah, I'm not fucking. If damn, Maxx Crosby's at the door, I don't know. Like, Howie Long had no daughters, so everybody was lucky that way. But so man, one of the things I got a lot of respect about you for is obviously, and you've been told this is, you kind of putting it out there, your substance abuse struggles and kind of like the conversation you had to have with yourself. I had no idea, and that's, I guess, maybe the biggest lesson about people who are going through something like that you could do something like you did your rookie year in the NFL, as hard as I know the position is, the whole thing, and be probably struggling under the surface a little bit. How hard was that? When did you know you were struggling? And how tough was it to put yourself first? Because I know you checked into rehab in the summer.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. Just like thinking back, like of where I was mentally, I was in a whole different like space, and it wasn't easy at all. I feel like I knew the second I took a drink, like when I was in high school, like I wasn't like everybody else. Like I love that shit, and it stemmed just from my insecurities growing up. Like I was a super insecure kid. I felt like in the shadow of my brother. Like my brother was the star when I was young, and like he got all the attention, he got all the chicks. He was the man. So like I felt like my way to fit in was like once I had that first drink at a party, I was like, oh my God, like I could go out. I feel confident for once, and like I love that. So yeah, like literally from day one, I knew I had a problem deep down. Like I didn't know at the time, but like looking back, I was like, yeah, 100%. Like I loved it. So yeah, it's hard, obviously going, playing in the NFL is hard enough, but, showing up hungover, like there was Mayock probably, I haven't, we haven't talked about this publicly, but like, it is what it is at this point. But when I was a rookie, like I missed a whole day. Like I went back home to Eastern and I was like drunk for like 2-3 days. I was, it was homecoming. I didn't even make it back on Monday for practice, and we had to play a game. You know what I mean? And like, I was so far gone and opposite of what I am now, like just from a preparation and like just mental standpoint. But it's just a testament of, committing and being consistent on a daily basis and looking myself in the mirror and realizing like, yeah, this shit is not okay. I knew I had a problem. And the hardest thing is just admitting you have a problem, especially in our position. Everyone in the world's telling me, Max, you're incredible. You're doing great things. You had an amazing rookie year. And I'm like, all right, cool. But I knew like deep down I was in a really bad place. So that's kind of the hard balance where it's like, all right, do I just keep doing what I'm doing and try to hide this shit as long as I can? Or is it just going to get worse and worse? And, it was getting worse and worse. So that was the best decision I ever made. Like it literally changed my life. And looking back now, it's been over 3 years. And the things I've just, accomplished in these 3 years are shit I never would have imagined. And I know I'm just getting started. So yeah, it gives me even more motivation, but that's literally what comes first every single day. Before I go to bed, I say a prayer, and let everybody, in my head, I talk about how grateful I am and how appreciative I am of just being sober and having another day under my belt. And when I wake up, I do the same thing. So yeah, like on the outside world, I got football, I got all this stuff going on, but like none of that happens unless I'm sober and doing what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm just grateful to be here in this position because I know it can be taken away, and one drink can lead, that just leads down the rabbit hole, and I'm going to be, off and running. So yeah, I got to stay close and stay, attention to detail, just like if it's a sport or a job or anything else. Like that's a whole nother battle that I deal with every day, but it gets easier and easier every day, just being more consistent. And yeah, man, it's literally a miracle. Like the fact that I was balling out and was fucking doing, drinking and doing all that shit. Like it's honestly crazy thinking back, but it all happens for a reason. And I'm grateful, I got to really go through that because now I can help other people. And that's really what it's all about.
And is the selling point of sobriety, is there obviously you've accomplished so much and things are probably more efficient for you and all that shit, but like, is there a piece like, like you're feeling like the way you feel every day where you used to be chasing that one feeling, like is the piece of just being sober and feeling like yourself? Like, is there something in there that you're like, oh, I hadn't been this guy in a while. I forgot what that felt like. And it's kind of great.
No, 100%, man. Honestly, it's like my superpower. We talk about this all the time. Like it's crazy. Like my whole childhood, I was the, the redheaded kid, chubby kid. I was always insecure and I just grew up that way. And I was never comfortable in my own shoes. And I was always looking for something to fill that, whether it was, when I was a kid, I loved to eat a lot because it made me feel better because I was insecure. And then as I got older, I started drinking, smoking and doing all this shit. And like, I was constantly chasing something that was, just a negative, part of my life. So yeah, like now, like I'm 25 years old and like, I've been clean for over 3 years and like, I know who I am as a person now. I'm still I'm learning on a daily basis, but like, I'm comfortable in my own shoes. I'm not worried about the past. I'm not worried about the future. I'm literally just worried about today and getting better. And like all those things, like all my goals and all the things I want to achieve, if I just keep doing what I'm doing and staying consistent on a daily basis, I know I'm going to get to those things. And it's honestly, it's crazy because I never thought like in my brain when I was a kid or like even in college, like I never knew I was going to stop drinking. Like in my head, I was like, damn, I'm going to just keep rolling with this until the wheels fall off. Yeah. But now it's like, I'm like accomplishing things I never would have imagined just by committing to myself. Like it's honestly out of self-respect. You got to be selfish in a way when it comes to your sobriety. Like that comes first before anything. And I'm taking care of myself now, and I see things so much more clear, and I could think and make real life decisions, and I could be a father, and I could, I'm not second guessing when I wake up like, oh shit, what did I do last night? It's like, no, I'm in control of my life. And, it's honestly the coolest thing on the planet, man.
Congratulations 1,000 times, dude. And I remember when you signed that big deal, it was like 2 years almost to the day, or maybe to the day, that you embarked on this journey of sobriety. And a little levity here. I remember we shared a laugh about a year ago because I was congratulating you on Twitter for your deal, and I had seen Will Compton had congratulated you, and he decided to finish the congratulations with an emoji of a glass of liquor. Fucking idiot, dude.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot. That's just Will.
I had to take him for a walk.
That's Will Compton.
I had to take him to a walk. I had to take him to the fridge. I'm the only guy that's ever taken Will Compton for a walk.
Yes, I was crying laughing, bro. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too until we were prepping for the show, and I was like, holy shit, Will. But your rookie year, I think I had Mayock on a couple weeks ago. I love Mike, and we were talking about you in Cleveland, and I can empathize with Farrell and the pressure of being a high pick. Like, for me, for a year and a half, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and people were like, "What's up with this guy?" And then you get on a roll, but it never happened for him. And I know for you came on right away. Was there any element to that of being like, hey, a little bit of pressure is off me. Everybody's looking at this guy. I just got to get out here and play hard and make some plays. Like, was there any of that with your rookie year, and how did you support each other?
Yeah, Cleese to this day is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
He came to my wedding. That's my dog, and it's tough, man. Obviously in the league, it's not easy. And everybody, he was a Ted Hendricks Award winner in college, top 5 pick. So when he got drafted and then I got drafted, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to fight real hard because they drafted a dude in 4th overall. I'm going to really have to get it out the bottom, but like, that's what I'm used to. So at the same time, I came out of, high school and I had one offer and I started at the bottom and I had to work for that shit. So like, that was nothing new to me. And like deep down, I've always had true confidence in my ability to play football.
Yeah.
So mentally, like I was in that space where like, I'm going to figure it out regardless. But, having Clee going through what he went through, I know it was tough, and being with him every single day, like he had all the pressure in the world, and especially with Raider fans, like they're like Philly fans. They do not play. Like if you have one bad game, they are on your ass until you make another, until the next game starts. Like
I did an autograph signing with him, and it was insane, dude. The people, I'm like, bro, this is insane. It's like another version of Philly.
Yeah, it's literally, it's very similar. Like they're ruthless. And I, as a rookie, especially a guy like him, he's come from Clemson, a program where, the coaches are very like positive and they build their guys up. And like, then you go to this, it's a whole different environment and you got all this pressure and all the eyes on you. Like, I can't even imagine, I wasn't in his shoes. I can't tell you his story, but I know he went through it just on a daily basis. And I was always there for him, trying to give him, just motivation and trying to like talk to him in a different place, because I know it was hard for him seeing me have success and all the fans were gravitating and hyping me up. And I can't even imagine, I know that was hard for him. So I was just always trying to be myself to him. I was a friend first before any of that started. Like we went through the, draft process. We were at the combine together. Like that was my boy. So I always just try to put things in perspective and keep them, positive, even though it was hard sometimes. And like, going into my second year, like it kind of flipped. Like I had all the expectations, you know what I mean? And so after my rookie year, and then I was, I literally went to training camp out of rehab. Like I was overweight. I was, just trying to live life sober. And like, I felt like I had a sophomore slump, I took a step back.
How heavy did you get?
Bro, when I checked into rehab, I was like 285.
Damn.
Like I was big, bro. Yeah. And yeah, so like I was literally in rehab till like April, and then I went to it was basically like a halfway house, like with sober living all the way up until July. So like I was just trying to just stay sober. It didn't matter what that looked like. So, and then you go into an NFL season and the COVID hit and like all the fans were on my ass now. Like I was not playing at the level I wanted to. I knew I wasn't at my best. And like, that's just like the NFL, man. You know, they build you up to break you down, and that's just what it is. And you got to be able to withstand that storm. So Clee got to kind of see it my second year where I was, struggling and going through it. And, that just made us closer at the end of the day because we were both there for each other, at our hardest times.
You brought up that period, and just to go back to it for a second, another guy who's gone on his way is Darren Waller. And, that's got to be an incredible bond that y'all had, in the commonalities, and also, like, it's two dudes who are, like, the most popular football players in Las Vegas trying to stay sober and stay out of trouble. Like, do you ever stop and think about that, like, where you guys are? And then it's really cool that he's going to New York wearing 12. There's symbolism there. What was y'all's relationship like, and how big of a deal was he to you?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like you said, like that whole, it's like out of a movie, type shit. And I remember my rookie year when I was going through it, like I could just tell looking at Waller, like he knew I was going through something. And, he might have, like, I was going through what I was going through, and I seen him, like, and in the back of my head, I knew I eventually was going to have to stop. Like, this is not going to last forever. And it was just getting worse and worse. And then, he went public about his story and, like, I think training camp, and, like, he's talking about this, and I was doing, pills and all this stuff. And I'm like, damn. And, like, look at him now. Like, he's killing it. And, I looked up to him like crazy. And so when I got clean, we got into meetings together, and to this day, Tuesday nights, we do meetings together. And it's like, it's crazy, bro. Like, literally that dude has been through a ton. I've been through a ton, and having two people in the locker room, being sober and having, a lot of attention and going through all that shit, like me and him could relate on that level. So yeah, we talk about all that shit all the time. Like, it's not easy, from everything, you got all the distractions, you got all the people trying to, get one piece, you got all this stuff going on, and being able to handle that in a sober mindset is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy in general. And, being in Vegas is just like added shit on top of it. But, just the fact that he was able to stay clean out here, I've been able to stay clean, like, it's nothing but a blessing. And I love Waller to death, man. That's my boy.
Well, one of the things that I when I watch you, I'm like, man, this is a really cool skill. I was never a guy, because of the defenses I played in, I didn't play vertical in the run game enough. Sometimes I would play the fuck out of blocks, but Maxx, he's just like shot out of a cannon. He's flying 3-4 yards up the field. I know Rob Marinelli might have had something to do with that at some point. The OG.
100%.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
But like, you rack up a ton of TFLs. So when the ball's snapped and it's a 50-50 down, what's your mindset?
Yeah, honestly, it's simple. Like, Marinelli's way of coaching is you stop the run on the way to the pass.
Yep.
Like, we're getting off the rock regardless. And it's all stimulus response. We're not thinking, predicting.
I've heard
like,
that
it's not run game. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking, okay, this is most likely going to be a run. It's like, no, I'm getting off the rock, and I'm going to react. And that's just doing the same shit over and over in practice. So once you get into the game, I'm not thinking about, all right, are they doing this in this formation? Are they going to, it's like, no, like, I read my key and I'm going. If he steps down, I'm running 1,000 miles an hour down the line. If it's, there's obviously tendencies and stuff like that. I study the lineman, but most of the film I watch is me. And if it's a 50-50 down, like you said, like, there's no such thing. Like, I'm getting off the ball.
49.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, obviously there's certain situations, it's most likely to pass, things like that. But I'm always, I've just being disruptive. Like, that's how I pride myself on. That's how 4-man rush is what made me my money in this league, and what's continued to make me, better and better players. Just the simple things, read my keys, I get off, change the direction, like literally the most simple things. That's what I pride myself on. And it's, I take it so serious, and I preach it to all the young guys and all the dudes that are coming in. And, I want everyone to be playing on that, with that mindset. I'm going to make the play. I'm going to get off the rock. We're going to fly to the ball. If it's a screen, I'm going to be the first motherfucker there. I'm going to knock his helmet off. Like, that's how I play the game of football, and that's how I'm trying to get everybody, you know, on that same wavelength. I was just talking to Marinelli today, by the way. He just
awesome.
said, yeah, we talk all the time.
Tell him I said what's up. I like Rod. Mike Waffle, my coach in St. Louis, he just repeated half the shit that Rod said. So when I hear stimulus response, I mean, there's probably more than one thing that he's heard that I've heard.
Marinelli coached me
that
in
was
Chicago.
Your boy in Chicago, too.
Yeah, and then before Chicago, Joe Cullen was my coach in down in Jacksonville.
Joe's another legend.
Joe's off of the Marinelli tree. Like everything, it was a smooth transition for me going from Jacksonville
the wild
to Chicago.
branch. He's the guy that ended up in the drive-through naked.
Yeah,
Joe Cullen.
yeah, definitely.
So Max, did you guys ever play with your tracks? Like, do you like to vary your tracks in the pass rush? What I mean by that is like we call them speed tracks, tilt tracks. You know, like depending on what kind of rush you're looking to go with or the situation. Like, and by that I mean, are you tilting in and aiming at the tackle's outside shoulder? Or are you trying to beat him to a spot up the field? Do you vary that?
Yeah, I vary it. You know, honestly, every tackle is different. Yeah. And like what I've learned, especially now getting more attention in chips and slides and things like that, I got to pay more and more attention to how they're going to block me. Yeah. And that's why watching film is, you know, I could watch the other team. I could watch a right tackle play 10 games and I'll go into the game. He'll do something completely different because at the end of the day, like there's, you know, I know they're going to try to do different shit to me and try to slow me down. So yeah, when it comes to like my approach, I like to have every move in my toolbox ready to go. Like that's why I take the off season. Like I started January 30th. I've been going nonstop, and there's you know, ups and downs, deload weeks, things like that. But like I do it all year round, so I'm able to have the flexibility, the cardio, and all to do all these moves. So I can spin both ways. I have my speed to power. I have all these moves in my toolbox. So no matter what the situation is, I have an answer for it. If a guy wants a jump set, I got an answer for that with a spin, whether it's off 2 steps or 4 steps. Like that's I really try to just maximize my toolbox to the farthest extent. So like, yeah, like we're playing, for example, we're playing Seattle this year and they got this rookie, you know, they're talking, you know, they're hyping him up. Like Rob Ryan came to me early in the week. He's like, this Lucas kid, like he might be the best tackle you faced all year. And I'm like, bet. So I took that as a challenge and we started the game. I started with speed to power, speed to power, speed to power. And then as the game went on, I started tightening my alignment because he's long. Like this is a big athletic kid. I started tightening my alignment because he was athletic. He was bailing out of there and waiting on the speed. So I've just gotten to a 5 and I was one step and getting off and getting on an edge and I was beating him every time. And so once I started beating him with that, I'm like, okay, it's 50 seconds on the clock, 3rd and 10. We got to get a stop. I widened back out and I just sprinted off the ball. And I beat him a swipe like 8 times. And he thought I was about to hit him with a swipe again. And he was sprinting out of there. And you remember, I got
you got helmet right in his chest. And I think you had a strip sack or maybe took the ball off Gino or something.
Yeah. And so it was just like it was a speed to power, but it was setting it up during the game. And that's kind of like, that's what that's just one example. I always, especially during the game, I feel like the best guys like know how to adjust, like, and having all those in my toolbox, I work it all week. Like, okay, sometimes I'll align a little bit wider. Sometimes I'll be tighter, just depending on what kind of guy they are. And every matchup is different. So I really just try to have all those tools ready when the game comes and, just go from there.
I found it's funny you say that because, like, a lot of people are you got to have a plan. And you do have a loose plan, but it has to be very pliable to where you can change your approach in the second quarter because, to me, we used to always watch cut-ups, like you guys are watching guys around the league, and I hate sack tapes. Okay, because first off, the best rushers aren't sacks. So, I'm watching these guys. I'm like, all right, well, this guy just turned it 10 yards, and he got fucking lucky. The quarterback drifted. But also, not everybody can do everybody's shit. And sometimes you'll be watching a guy, and you'll be like, well, this guy's anchor is suspect. Then you get out there, and you stick a long arm in his chest, and you're like, damn, this guy's like a brick wall. So you got to have like your off-speed pitches. You got to be able to go to them. You got to be able to go to them within a play. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I guess with all your tools, is there one that feels the best when you hit it clean?
Honestly, like I start the game, I'm thinking, okay, I'm speed to power. I'm going to hit him in his face 3 times in a row just to let him know, like, yeah, I'm going to be here all day.
And I have.
And that immediately a tackle is going to be like, all right, I got an anchor in this motherfucker. Yep. So for me, my stab to swipe, when I learned it in college, we called it the voodoo rods. It's a fake rod to swipe. But it's just a stab swipe. And like, that's when I hit that clean, like, I feel like that move is like unstoppable. When I'm getting off the ball, stabbing, swiping. Yeah, I love that move because I'm coming clean, and I've gotten a ton of sacks off that.
The feeling of your right wrist just knocking down some big guy's arm is just like, oh, home free, dude. And then you've got the ability to turn that edge at the top, which is rare ability. What's it like going to Von Miller's camp? And, like, how much freedom of information is there? And are you worried at all about, like, you tell somebody in the AFC West what you like to do, and then they go back and tell, Orlando Brown or something? Or do you protect it at all, or is it just, like, free-flowing ideas?
Yeah, honestly, well, first off, your first question, like the camp in general is incredible. I've been going, it's my 4th year now. Yeah. And me and Vaughn have gotten super close over the years. So he's a great friend of mine, and that dude is he's a football mind. Like he sits there and can talk football all day, all day, all day. So it's incredible. And, when it comes to that, like this is another Marinelli one. It's all about us. Like, that's just my approach. Like, shit, you think you can know what I'm doing, but like, it's all about me. If I do my rushes the right way, I don't give a damn what you're going to bring. Like, my mindset is I'm going to beat you regardless. So yeah, like I'm not sitting there hiding, secrets from certain guys. Like, when we're at the camp, like, everybody's just free game. Everyone's talking. We're walking on the field for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and literally just walking through stuff and talking over, what they see, what their approach is from a 2-point, from a 3-point, what guys like, what moves, in critical moments they like to pull out. And then we go in the film room and watch film for 3 hours. And like, I'll go up there, then Micah Parsons went up there, then Cam Jordan goes up there, like all the best rushers in the league, just literally talking football. And it's incredible. I got pages and pages of notes from this weekend. And I look forward to it every time. It's a hell of a time. But yeah, Vaughn is one of those dudes who's so like, he's just a football like junkie. Like, he truly loves it. And just looking at his career, like, that's a dude who I aspire to be like. He's won multiple Super Bowls. He's 100+ sack guy. Yeah. He's consistently in the Pro Bowl. Like, that's the dude I look up to. And, I just want to pick all the best guys, brains. Like, at the end of the day, Aaron Donald, Micah, all those guys. Like, when I first got in the league, I hit up all those guys. And like, now that's the only people I talk to. I talk to TJ, I talk to Nick Bosa, and like, me and Nick talk all the time. Yeah. But yeah, like, another example, Vaughn called me, it was our bye week, and we just played the Chiefs, and I got 2 sacks versus Wiley. And he called me, and he's like, yo, I just watched your game. We got the Chiefs this week. Like, what were you seeing? What were you doing? Blah, 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 blah. He goes out there, and this is my bye week, so I finally get to just sit there, watch Sunday, watch Red Zone, and I'm watching the Bills versus Chiefs. Vaughn goes out there, and you can pull up the clips. Like, we did the same exact spin move. The lineman fell the same exact way. Like, and I'm going nuts in my house. I'm like, I'm screaming. And then he gets another one, and he ended up getting 2 sacks. And literally, I'm sitting there on the Norman Tex in my room, and he calls me on the plane. He's like, bro, I was fucking thinking about you when I was going. Like, it was crazy. And we were just hyped. And so, like, that's what it's really all about, is just giving back to the game. And, I try to associate myself with the best in the game and learn whatever I can.
Dude, listen, how cool is that? A couple years ago, you're a guy at Eastern Michigan. Now you got Von Miller hitting you up. Like, I was inspired by Maxx Crosby's rush plan. All right, I got to let you go in a second, but I'm going to ask you about 2 teammates. First one, Chandler Jones, one of my favorite rushers. One of the guys that you're like, don't try this at home. Like, I'm watching his shit, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do that thing. Yeah. I can't do that thing, bro. Like, but I know you love Chan, and I'm wondering how excited you were when you first found out he was going to come play with you.
Oh, I was going crazy. When we first signed him, I was sitting in the room with Rob Ryan, and we're watching film and talking ball. And I was going to him last offseason. I'm like, yo, can you make me a cut up of this guy and this guy? And like, I'm literally in the office. I go, I want a Cam Jordan and Chandler Jones. And he's like, all right, bet. So we're just shooting the shit. 10 minutes later, Josh McDaniels walks in the room. He's like, we just signed Chandler Jones. And I'm like, I swear to God, bro, it's crazy. I'm looking at Rob. I'm like, no fucking way. Rob's like, he just fucking asked me. And he's going nuts. And it was crazy. So I got him on the phone immediately. And me and Chan's another guy. Like, me and Chan for years have been in contact, and we talk like all the time. So when he got signed, I was like, fuck yes, I'm excited. And he's like my best friend. Like, me and Chan are like, we do everything together during the day. We're at meetings, you sit next to each other, and like, if you know Chan, like, Chan's like a big child. Like, he's the funniest human I've ever met, bro. Yeah. He's hilarious. And he's just such a good player, man. He's got so much. And like you said, he's one of those rushers. I can't go do what Chan does. Like, I can't go do what Vaughn does. Like, Chan he will long arm you and grab your feet or your neck and throw dudes off their feet. Like, he does shit that's not even human. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
I can't coach that, bro.
It's crazy, bro.
And you got one more freak of nature joining you guys in Tyree Wilson. And I got to be honest, he was maybe my favorite guy in the draft out of all the rushers. His length and, some of the twitchiness that he showed. His scheme he was in was a little bit more like reading, and he'd be playing down in a 4, covered up, and that sort of thing. I think he's going to be really fun. What have you seen so far from Tyree?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, just purely off of physical gifts, like, the dude's a freak show. He's 6'6", 275. He makes me look small. So he's just like he's a monster. And like you said, like, in college, he was in that scheme where he was playing kind of all different positions, and he was square a lot of the times. He wasn't getting off the ball like crazy. I feel like coming into our system, we're mainly a 4-man front now. And I'm just excited to get on the field with him. Like, he's been, getting back. He's trying to get to 100%. He's almost there. But I want to get on the field with him and just get off with him, and just because he could be so dangerous and so disruptive. If he just gets the little details, if he takes it super serious and focus on get off and just the little details, reading your key, get off, run into the ball, like, that dude's going to be successful. So I'm just excited for him. We brought in 6 rookies. We brought in a kid from Bama, Byron Young. We brought in Nesta from Arizona State. We got like a ton of guys now in the room, and it's been super exciting. The OTAs went great. And I'm just fired up. Camp's right around the corner, so we're fired up over here. And
can we get Ngakoue signed? He's a fucking dog, dude. I don't understand what the deal is. All he's done is produce since he's been in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
Where do you want to see him? You got any, like, I'd love to see him in this uniform, that uniform?
Honestly, I think Jan is, he wants to be on a winner. I know I think it's year 9 for him, 8 or 9 now. Yeah. So he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna sign with a contender in training camp. So I'm not sure where, but Jan is my boy. I love Jan.
Yeah, he's
one of the most passionate, crazy dudes I've been around. But I love him. It's my dog. This year in Indy when we played, I got to see him after the game, and me and him. It was like me and Chandler. Obviously completely polar opposite person.
Yeah.
But just another dude you get to share the field with. You'll have that relationship forever. So wherever he goes, bro, he's gonna do well.
Being a D-lineman fucking rocks. You get some roll dogs and stick with them, man.
Great fraternity.
Yeah, Max, man, thanks for the time, dude. We wish you the best of luck this year. Try to get a little downtime, bro. And we'll be watching you. Come back soon.
Good luck.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah,
good talking.
You, dude. Yeah. Yep. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.